The regular meeting of the Annapolis City Council on Monday, June 9th, 2025 will be called to order at 7 p.m. At this time, please join us for the invocation given by Alderman Arnett, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll not ask you to bow your heads. I have been looking at the calendar more and more these days, and I noticed that this will be the last invocation that I will be giving. And so I'll take a little bit more time with it than I normally do. This country is blessed with all kinds of people who came here for religious reasons, came here for religious persecution, came here without religion. Many of our founding fathers did not, and came here as atheists. And I was brought up to honor all of those different perspectives. So I've tended to make my invocations short and very non-denominational. So tonight I will offer a few pearls of wisdom that I've learned over my time. Listen to learn, express to explore, hard on issues, soft on people. And you get power by giving. Thank you.
Amen. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Buckley.
Present.
Alderman Huntley.
Here.
Alderwoman O'Neill.
Present.
Alderwoman Kendall Charles.
Here.
Alderman Finlayson.
Present.
Alderman Shannon Meyer.
Present.
Alderman Gay.
Present.
Alderman Savage.
Present.
Alderman Arnett.
Present.
Thank you.
You, Mr. City Attorney, please present the first item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
Thank you. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda to add 030-24 fence permit requirements related to use and development standards. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
To move. What were
Second.
we adding? I missed it.
Fence permit
Oh,
requirements.
thank you. Yes.
Your neighbor will tell you.
Good fences
Thank
make
you.
good neighbors.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is ceremonial items, beginning with ID 11125, Gun Violence Awareness Month.
Now, I think I have a proclamation here. Are any of the gun violence people here from the event? Then I will read this proclamation. We had a wonderful event on Saturday at the Pip Moyer Rec Centre. So this proclamation reads, whereas each year too many lives are cut short and too many families are forever changed by the devastating effects of gun violence. Whereas in an effort to honour and remember all victims and survivors of gun violence, we must raise awareness about gun violence prevention and education in our community on measures that can be taken to prevent future tragedies. And whereas where Orange began on June 2nd, 2015, what would have been the 18th birthday of Hidayah Pendleton, a high school student from Chicago who was shot and killed on January 29th, 2013, just 1 week after performing at President Obama's second inaugural parade. The color orange was chosen because it is the color that hunters wear to protect themselves and others, signify to value human life. And whereas by wearing orange, we honor Hidayah and more than 100 Americans whose lives are cut short at and the countless survivors who are injured by shootings every day. We also renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the wrong hands and encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our children safe. And whereas the City of Annapolis is dedicated to the safety and well-being of all residents and recognizes the importance of community involvement in efforts to prevent gun violence. And whereas the City of Annapolis supports the national movement to end gun violence and encourages all residents to participate in Wear Orange Gun Violence Prevention Week, to show solidarity with victims and survivors and to work together towards a future free from gun violence. Thank you. Alderman Pindell Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to also give a shout out to Mr. Troy Stansbury and his organization yesterday at Eastport Terrace Harbor House. There was a fantastic event, a community cookout geared towards gun violence, and it was a wonderfully attended event, and everyone seemed in sync with what was going on. And so I just want to give that organization, that community, a shout out for doing a fantastic job on yesterday. It was really very enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. City Attorney, please present the next item.
Yes, sir. The next item is petitions, reports, and communications, beginning with update from the mayor.
So good evening. Summer doesn't officially start for 11 days, but in Annapolis, summer is already underway, and there is a little of something out there for everybody. While last night's City Dock concert with the Bayside Big Band got cancelled due to rain, we've got City Dock Tango this Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. On Sunday, the 15th, the Cars Beach Dance Club will perform. The City Dock concert performances are on Sunday evenings at Susan Campbell Park. They are free and fun for the whole family. We thank the Art in Public Places Commission for coordinating this very Annapolis tradition, a free summer concert with a beautiful waterfront backdrop. Over in Eastport, the Annapolis Maritime Museum hosts Tides and Tunes, a summer concert series on Thursday night. Parking is limited to street parking, which can be tight. So carpool, walk, or bike, or ride share. They've got food trucks on site, but you can always bring a nibble from home along with a chair or a blanket to sit on. On Wednesday, Inner West Street has Dinner Under the Stars with musical performances from 6 to 8 p.m. alongside Pickleball Under the Stars starting at 5 p.m. Starting next month, the South Forest Business Association, SOFO, will launch their Summer Drive-In movie series. That's another great thing to do out there. I want to thank everyone who organised, set up and attended weekend events, including the grand opening of Overflow Skate Park at Truxton and the Gun Violence Prevention Fair. Later tonight, today, I just shared a proclamation for Gun Violence Prevention Month, and you'll notice outside City Hall windows will all be lit up orange for the week. Two other events this weekend were big hits. The World Ocean Day Beach Cleanup at Eltonia Cars on Saturday, where volunteers, including Alderman Savage and his son, picked up trash along the waterfront. In the pouring rain, no less, thank you, Rob, and also the Stanton Center Kiddies Prom, presented by Annapolis Wrexham Park with support from Annapolis Police Community Relations. We thank our teams for working to present and support these events. Wrexham Park's Director Ros Johnson and her team carried this off seamlessly this weekend. 3 back-to-back big events, and thank you to her and Chief Jackson for their collaboration. A round of applause for them, please. And tomorrow night at the Pitmoy Rec Centre, folks from the Planning and Zoning Department will host another Tyler Avenue Complete Community Workshop, a chance to improve community safety and neighbourhood character by drafting recommendations for a safer streetscape and more community greenscape and housing. We want to hear from you, so please come out at 6 p.m. on June 6th, at 6 p.m. on June 10th at the Pip Moyer Rec Centre. Also, tomorrow from 5 to 8, the Caucus of African American Leaders is hosting a mayoral forum. I wasn't invited because I'm out. The forum is between the 2 current candidates, one of them who is sitting here on the stage, for Mayor of Annapolis. That will be at the Wiley H. Bates Legacy Center on Smithville Street from 5 to 8 p.m. tomorrow. Should be exciting. I'm looking forward to it because I'm not in the hot seat. As a reminder, the City of Annapolis municipal primary elections will be held on September 16th. The general elections will be held on November 4th. Candidates have until July 28th to fill out the paperwork to get on the ballot for all 8 council seats and the office of mayor. The election team would like me to remind everyone to check in, if necessary, update their mailing address with the State Board of Elections at elections.maryland.gov. In August, everyone will receive by US mail a ballot request form. If you would like to use mail-in, also known as absentee voting, you'll need to fill out and return the application by the deadline. In-person voting will be an option for both the primary and the general election, but there will be no, I repeat, no early voting or same-day voter registration for this municipal election. The Arts Council of Anne Arundel County will launch the inaugural Annapolis Porch Fest on Saturday, June 14th from 11 to 3 p.m. with musicians playing on porches, stoops, and in driveways in the Germantown Homewood neighborhood. Karma O'Neill, Alderman O'Neill's neighborhood, which is a wonderful place. Throughout the Porch Fest, you are welcome to walk and sit down around the neighborhood and listen to music and connect with neighbors and both old and new friends. Sounds like an interesting, awesome idea. I'll be out there on my bike probably. Lastly, I want to highlight next week's Juneteenth reunion at Cars Beach. Annapolis Recreation and Parks will host a concert at Elktonia Cars and the Annapolis Maritime Museum Edgewood Road campus. That is from 3 to 7 p.m. on Thursday, June 19th. It's free and open to the public with food trucks, vendors, and beautiful views of the Chesapeake Bay. As part of the 160th Juneteenth celebration, also known as America's Second Independence Day, the concert will feature the James Brown Experience, Stoney Ellis, Phase 2, and voices of Motown Philly, and of course our local favorites, Clones of Funk. A carpool or park at the Pitmoy Rec Center, where a shuttle will run throughout the day. Bring a chair or a blanket. No umbrellas, please. Then on Saturday 21st, the Annapolis Juneteenth Parade will take place along West Street, with the festival taking place at the Anne Arundel County Fairgrounds in Crownsville. Keeps getting bigger. And to get you excited about the concert, here's 1 minute to look at what to expect. Hopefully they have this queued up. All right, I know everyone in this room is too young for that event, but okay, Mr. City Attorney, let's get on with the meeting.
Yes, sir. The next item is reports by committees.
Alderman O'Neill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Transportation Committee will meet this Wednesday. On our agenda, we will have a report from our parking contractors, updates on the parking garages, as well as a report from our transportation director about all of the great things that are going on, including the Go Time micro mobility, and that is at 4 p.m. here in Council Chamber.
Thank you. Alderman Gay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My first comment, I hope they change the no umbrella. Well, it's going to be hot on June 19th. We will need those umbrellas out there, I'm telling you.
Lots of trees.
Okay. The Housing Human Welfare Committee will be meeting 6:30. We were supposed to meet 6:16, but we will be, that's the council meeting because we'll be at MML. So we had to move our meeting. Oh, is it MML or the holiday? Yeah, MML. Okay. So we'll be moving our meeting. We haven't no formal agenda yet because we only had limited legislation and something still in planning committee. But one thing that the Alderwoman from Ward 3 just mentioned was the partnership that we've had with the Annapolis Health Department. And again, I would put the invitation out that we have them to come and talk about VIP. They've been operating the program for almost a year in a city, and we have had no reports or updates. So I think that'll be the next step. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Shannon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Economic Matters will not be meeting this month. Enjoy your Wednesday.
Alderman Finlayson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Rules and City Government Committee met on the 6th of June, and we gave recommendations to a number of appointments. Actually, they're all reappointments, and they're on the agenda for this evening. We also heard information on 030, the fence permit legislation that's been placed on our agenda this evening. We gave it a favorable recommendation as amended, as well as 0825 Chesapeake Museum lease agreement. We gave it a favorable recommendation. The next meeting of the Rules and City Government Committee will be on July 11th, 1 p.m. here in Council Chambers. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Pendell Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Public Safety Standing Committee met on June the 3rd. At that time, we had the Office of Emergency Management's Chief Simmons presented and answered questions from the committee. We focused on Ward 2 this month. Annapolis Fire Department, Deputy Chief Lopez and Deputy Chief Powell were present to answer questions from the committee as well. The Annapolis Police Department gave an update as well from Chief Jackson, Deputy Chief Branford, Captain Howard, Captain Miguez, Captain Thacker, and the Director of Internal Affairs, Keisha, were present to answer questions from the committee as well. We also had an opportunity and asked them to provide their backgrounds, which were very diverse and fascinating to hear what we have as far as our command staff is concerned. Our next Public Safety Committee meeting is scheduled for Monday, July the 7th at 6:30 p.m. here in Council Chambers. At that time, we will be wrapping up our focus on wards. We will be focusing on wards 5 and 7. Thank you.
You. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is comments by the general public.
Cynthia.
Just going to check the sign-up sheet. Apologize, it's not up here yet. You can come up and speak in about anything you need to, except for one thing tonight, which has its own separate public hearing, and that is O-9-25. That is about expanding waterfront uses in R4 general residence. But for anything else, please feel free to come forward and speak for 3 minutes. Godfrey Phelps is first up.
Good afternoon. First of all, I'd like to ask you members, are y'all familiar with the resolution that was submitted to a hacker board about checks being put in Melissa Evans' name rather than the hacker board's name?
Not aware, but we just listen to you and then we'll look into it afterwards. Thank you.
Okay,
3 minutes, but,
because I think it's a
Mr. Phelps,
playing
if you could
game.
just-
But
Mr. Phelps,
appreciate
just give
y'all-
your address as well, please. Yeah.
Pardon me?
Please give your address as well.
My address?
Yes. Name and address. Yep.
701 Glenwood Street,
Great. Thank you very
apartment
much.
412.
Thank
Yeah, I would like for y'all to look into that because I think that may be a serious problem with no checks and balances. And I don't think anyone has seen that document that was submitted at the meeting, because that's unprecedented. All checks should be made out to the Hacker Board rather than the executive director. Next thing I'd like to address is Morris H. Bloom, which we have a serious problem over there with cheap material. We got blow-up stoves. We got cheap tile on the floor that's popping up, one coat of paint. And we just find it ridiculous that we can't get, at least me in particular, can't get an electrician in there to find out what the problem is. I was told that a new transformer was coming from BG&E, but my conversation with BG&E today, no transformer is on order for Morris H. Bloom. So therefore, we need an electrician in there to find out what the problem is. Stove keep cutting off and on. A few boxes defected. So I'd appreciate if somebody from planning and zoning would to talk to them. They need somebody that got the skills of an electrician to come in there and find out what the problem is. That's all I had to say.
Thank you, Mr. Phelps. Next up, Harold Lloyd. Oh, thought it was Chucky. How are you? Sorry.
Good afternoon. I'm Harold Lloyd, and thank you for letting me speak today. I am coming up here as a resident from the Clay Street corridor, and for years I've seen the transition where we used to have outside playgrounds and things, but they're no longer there. So I'm going to go to Stanton and what we seen with the plans from the city of Annapolis, Rex and Parks. And one of the issues was the floor that's there. Everybody call it the E-Sport floor. I also call it the E-Sport floor, but the E stands for education. So I think that we had a meeting about a month ago or so at the First Baptist Church, and some of the tutors at Stanton Center had asked about homework, and someone from the Board of Education said that it's not required to give homework to the kids at the elementary school. So the tutors don't have anything to judge how far the kids' progress are in school. So that's why we still support this floor, because it's an educational component where the kids can use it, the tutors can help them use it and learn and judge where the kids are also in their schoolwork, or even exceed their schoolwork. I know that we had a meeting Friday, a community meeting, and we had asked Director Johnson, could she do a presentation of Stanton to show the plans, because the community really haven't seen the plans. So there were some people that was from the communities that came up there to see the plans, and they were very excited for the plans of Stanton Center, along with the floor. One of the questions I had asked Alderwoman Palmer O'Neill was she floor to floor? She said yes, and there was some misinformation that she wanted to clear up before she made a decision. But, you know, we have a voice in the Clay Street corridor, and we want to make it known. So we do have people speaking about different issues that's in the Clay Street corridor. And they're behind me and around me. And, you know, we just want to be heard. You know, the community has been looked over for so long, and especially the rec center has been looked over for so long. And this would be something that's new and exciting. And we hope that the council go through with it and make it come to fruition. And there's going to be other people that speak back here, not only on that, but different issues. But the Clay Street corridor is coming to speak a little bit tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Chucky. Thank you. Ms. Johnson, got a few. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mayor,
Good
Councilmen, and Council ladies. My name is Leslie Charles Johnson. This is my wife, Deborah Johnson. We reside at 100 Clay Street. We have an issue with the warrant, the SS warrant on lampposts. If you go in different neighborhoods, you don't see that. But right in front of our residence, we got so much SS warrant, look like a spider. Then with that, and then we have a lot of lampposts in our neighborhood that just need to be addressed. I tried with contacting gas and electric, the cable people, and everybody wanting to shift the blame on each other. So I would want some action I wanted to take care of. Because it's you go around in other neighborhoods, you don't see it. And even if that's not the case, it needed to be resolved. And the second issue that I want to speak on is the excess speed from the traffic. I done tried. They do have a presence of police there since the last community meeting that we had at First Baptist. But they're not there 24/7. The problem is I have 3 great grandchildren live in the neighborhood. And I'm not only concerned about them, I'm concerned about all the children in the neighborhood. We don't need any more tragedies on Clay Street. We already have bad press about other things. Mm-hmm. And I'm asking the council to resolve the issue. I've been trying to get either a speed bump or speed count. And I've been hearing different things about the street is not wide enough because you can't get a right angle on the however it's set up. So I'm asking the council to please help us in the 2nd ward and help us with the issue, because we don't want somebody else's kid or my kid get killed. Because sometimes the children come down the side streets and they don't stop. So we don't need any more tragedies on Clay Street. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, Alderman Shannon, I want to make some comments.
Mr. Johnson, so I agree with you on traffic speed being a huge issue, and you may be very happy to learn that in tonight's budget, we do have funding for speed cameras and officers to help monitor and address that. We do share your worry and concern on that, and that was one of the big parts of this budget. So I don't have a timeline on that, but we are in agreement with you, and we hope that we can find a resolution on that for you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And we all hate the visual pollution of those wires too. So we're with you 100%. Next up is Tanya. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tanya Watson. I live 136 Clay Street, Annapolis, Maryland. I'm here to talk to the board about how I was taken from out of my home for mold and was put into another home with mold, with graffiti on the wall, all kind of bugs, like I'm in the movie Invasion of the Bugs. Your inspectors said that they inspected 122. She never inspected 122. I talked with her that Friday day of my great nephew's funeral that got killed up in Meade Village. She didn't know where I was going at. When she called the officer, Renee, that's what she said. Miss Murray said, they're sending you to 122 Oldbury. Oh, yeah, and I inspected it. It's no way she could have expected the sprinkler systems alone was a violation. I was in a room, my bedroom, with cigarette burn holes all through the rugs. She said she inspected it. She did not inspect the place. And then when they sent me back to my home, they said they inspected, where they painted over the mold, and I'm getting even more sick. Something has to be done, because I don't think it's fair for anyone to have to live like that. And for them to say they passed the inspection, where I had to go into my home with plastic everywhere, said I had to clean up everything, their mess, everybody mess, paint everywhere, all over my house. And it's just not right for the inspectors to say that they inspect my home and it was safe for me to go back in, which when I walked in my house, I had Miss Benitra Anderson with me, and it was not safe at all. I have light fixtures that doesn't even have all the screws in them. They were all on the floor everywhere. I stepped on them and everything. My bed, a pair of my pajama pants was stuffed with shoes, clothes, hangers, electrical wires. How did they not see none of this? And then my sister's urn, my youngest sister's urn box is missing with her ashes. But they said it was okay if we go back in. Now, my floors has been wet in the bedrooms from underneath the bottom. The rug's soaking wet every time it rains. So the inspector that they said this time, he took the little machine, whatever they had, test the rugs, and said for me to call next time it rained because the rugs was damp. But he wanted to see the floor to see if it's any more wet. I don't want to wait for that, because that's just bringing more mold to my house. My breathing house got really bad. My second issue is that I went to taught my Stanton Community Center. My mother went to Stanton's Community Center. So to me, that is a very much vitriol way. People need to look at Stanton Center, because Stanton Center is a pillar for the children in our community. So we definitely need all renovation that needs to be done for Stanton Center. I want to thank y'all so much, and please talk to your inspectors. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya. We will check. Thank you. Vicky Green, next up.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline Green. I'm a resident of 70 Clay Street. My house was my great-great-grandmother's house originally. So my kids are the sixth generation in that place that our family has been there for 85 years. As she stated, Stanton Center is a part of the community. It almost is the community. So I'm here to talk about making sure we get the funding for the Stanton Center. I started camp at Stanton Center back in around, I guess, 1993 or so, and spent, I guess, about 6-8 years, as a camper there. When I was old enough to work, they even created a program so I could be a junior counselor to get me job training and to get me my first job. All 4 of my children are involved in the Stanton Community Center. My oldest daughter is now an employee there. My older son and my second daughter both have gone through the STAIR Academy program there, which has helped improve their reading and help them academically. My youngest son just finished his first year in STAIR at Stanton Community Center. There are only 4 places where my kids feel like they're safe: inside my house, at Stanton Center, at their grandmother's house, and in school. Anytime they want to play, they can't just go out front. They can't just go out back, because unfortunately, in my time there, I've seen bodies in both areas. They have to walk, to the Stanton Center, and hopefully it's open at the time, because, we also have to share with different events and things like that. And I know these renovations would help with that, because it would add more room, add more space, allow the kids to have more time to play and have somewhere to go. The esports floor that he's talking about has many academic things it can do. You can you can put a periodic table on the floor. You can use it for reading. You can do anything. The floor pretty much comes alive, and you can use that for anything, even down to helping someone who has a disability. If you want to, show them somewhere to go, you can create a path for them. And all the things they are speaking of building and putting into this building are things that'll get the kids out of the streets and somewhere safe. So all we're asking as a community is to have somewhere safe for our kids to play. In addition to that, even today, I'm on my way home and my mother called me to ask if my kids were okay because there was a shooting around the corner. Luckily, I know 2 of them are in Stanton Center, so I know exactly where they are, and I know that in that building, they are safe. As I stated, Stanton Center is a part of the community, even the staff there. Most of them are either longtime Clay Street residents, current or former, and have been there, some of them for decades, making sure that the community has somewhere to go. They not only do they care about the community, they are a part of the community. So I'm just trying to implore you to make sure that we get the funding that we need to keep this place great and to make improvements. The last time we had any renovations was 25 years ago. I was 13 years old, and now I have my 3rd child is 13. So I think it's time at this point to do something. That floor is not designed to last 25 years. It's, a lot of these things that need to be repaired are well past their lifetime. The floor, the roof, the bathroom, all of those things need repair. They need upkeep. And right now, the only upkeep we have is what the residents and the staff are willing to put into it, with their own backs. So I'm just, like I said, imploring you to consider making sure that we have the funding to make sure our kids have somewhere safe to be, as this resident said, to make sure that we don't have any more tragedy. Because they no longer, that's all the only place they have to go. Other than that, they have to walk a half a mile or more just to have somewhere safe to go, just to play basketball, just to run into a field, or they have to go to a graveyard. And we're trying to prevent them from being there in the graveyard for as long as possible. So I think that's,
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Alderman Gay?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No question. I have no question. I just really, really appreciate your testimony. I thought it's been the most impactful public testimony that we had from a Clay Street resident in regards to the Stanton Center and raising a child there. It was incredibly insightful and even your lived experience there. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Tara Green next. Tara Green. Nope. Okay. Jonathan McCop.
Hello. Thank you. My name is Jonathan McCop. I live at 1309 Poplar Avenue. I'm a resident, a PTA member, a soccer coach, and a port warden in Annapolis. I'm deeply invested in the well-being of the city. Recently, I applied for an ADU construction permit. Through this experience, I've encountered firsthand how restrictive and outdated some of our zoning laws are, particularly those that limit multifamily housing and the construction of ADUs. I'm here to express my concerns and suggestions for improvement. In the landmark 1926 Supreme Court case Euclid versus Ambler, the court affirmed that zoning ordinances are constitutional only if they are not arbitrary or unreasonable, and if they serve legitimate goals such as public health, safety, morals, and the general welfare. Let's consider how 5 Annapolis zoning regulations hold up to these standards. 1, bulk regulations. These rules dictate setbacks, 30 feet in the front, 6 on the side, and 15 to 30 in the back, plus height restrictions that vary by zone. These requirements reduce and usurp usable land, and are these setbacks truly for safety, or are they arbitrary? Number 2, square footage limits. A garage can be 1,200 square feet in the city of Annapolis, but an ADU is capped at 850. Is the city prioritizing garaging cars over housing people? Excessive planning requirements. Currently, building an ADU requires architectural drawings, a site survey, grading plans, stormwater management, landscape plans, all stamped by a licensed engineer. These requirements can add $50,000 to a $300,000 project. pricing families out of the opportunity to create housing for relatives, caregivers, or renters. Utility requirements. A 6-bed, 3-bath home can have 1 water and sewer connection, and yet a modest 3-bedroom, 2-bed bath house with an ADU requires a 2nd connection. This adds unnecessary cost without clear public benefit. Finally, fire suppression. Despite having an ISO Class 1 rated fire department, we require fire suppression systems in ADUs. While safety is important, over the last 5 years, Annapolis averages 45 fires, residential fires, with 0 injuries or fatalities. So why are we mandating costly systems for ADUs? Housing shortages and affordability are urgent issues. The leading cause of homelessness is the high cost of housing. Our city should be making it easier for residents to contribute to the solution. If you ask me what practical steps the City Council could take today to modernize our zoning laws while still honoring the Supreme Court's guidance, I would suggest the following. Reducing the setbacks. If 6 feet is good enough for my neighbor's welfare, it's good enough for the city's sidewalks. Match ADU sizes to garage limits, or eliminate the cap entirely. Allow single water and sewer connections, and simplify planning requirements. Eliminate the landscape plans. Replace the stormwater management plans with something simple like a set number of rain barrels. Let homeowners decide on fire suppression systems for their private residences. Thank you for your time, your service, and your willingness to listen. I truly believe we can move Annapolis forward, make it a more inclusive and sustainable and affordable future. And if we're willing to challenge the status quo and make room for smart reform, I think we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you. How you doing? Hi. Whenever you're ready, just full name and address.
I think I'm
Thank you.
ready. I didn't just want to save us some time. Hi, everyone. I'm Erin McCop, also 1309 Poplar Avenue. And I'm here tonight to urge the council to support the full implementation of accessory dwelling units, also known as ADUs, in Annapolis, not just on paper, but in practice. Let's be clear, allowing ADUs is not a radical idea. It's a smart tool for growing our city's tax base, addressing the housing shortage, and advancing environmental and equity goals, all without expanding city boundaries or straining resources. When homeowners invest in building ADUs, they increase their property's assessed value, which directly boosts the city's revenue. That means more funding for street and parks, public safety, rec centers, sidewalks, recreation resources that we heard so much about at the last meeting, all without raising tax rates or taking on new debt. ADUs also create gentle density. They provide options for seniors aging in place, young workers, or family members needing support. They're environmentally sound. ADUs reduce sprawl. They make use of existing infrastructure and encourage more energy-efficient living. So why are we making it difficult? When the city passes legislation legalizing ADUs, but administrative practices undermine it, we send a frustrating and confusing message to residents. Yeah, it's legal, but good luck getting it approved. It's my life. This undermines public trust, slows down progress, and prevents the city from realizing the full benefits of this policy. Surely the city and staff would rather spend attention on bigger issues like we heard about tonight affecting our community. I'm asking the council to ensure that our planning and zoning office is aligned with the intent of the law and that there's a clear, fair, and timely path for ADU to approval. In my specific case, I purchased architectural plans for an 807 square foot dwelling unit located above a double garage. I believe this complied with City Code 216410, which caps the unit at 850 square feet of livable space. Only after I paid for and submitted the plans did planning and zoning communicate that the footprint needs to be 850 square feet. The enclosed stairwell in this lovely structure, I had it printed. I'll show you later. This lovely structure pushed us over the limit. So if you want to put your stairwell inside the unit rather than outside, which I think is probably safer for seniors, it pushed us over the limit. So after several communications asking for the definition of livable square feet, which I believe you all passed, the architectural plan reviewer explained that the term doesn't exist, and it's actually calculated using total floor plate area, which is not a term found on the City ADU website or the code, nor do I remember this from our prior planning meetings. I say this not to disparage planning and zoning, who has a tremendous job in our city, to be sure. but I want to explain to you the challenge and frustration for the average homeowner. Annapolitans shouldn't have to hire attorneys or navigate a maze of conflicting interpretations to do something that's already legal. Let's make it easier, not harder, for Annapolitans to invest in their properties, provide housing for their families, and contribute to the future of our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Erin, Odin Chandom, the number one supporter of ADUs, would like to say a few words.
Thank you. I have been aware of these troubles, and we're trying to find ways to fix them however we can. But I do want to state on the record and recorded that the separate water sewer hookup fee was not part of the legislation. That was an internal regulation through our planning and zoning department through previous director Sally Nash, and in conversations with current director Jakubiak, he has told me that that has been waived, and so that should not be a current requirement with planning and zoning staff. So you have the drafter of the legislation saying that's how it was done. It is not in the law. And you have me saying that the current planning and zoning director has said that that needs to be waived. So that is now on the record, recorded for anyone who wishes to get notes of that.
Thank you. Thank you. Alderman Gay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to correct you. I submitted the first accessory dwelling unit legislation, which copied a city that already had it done, and it was very easy, and they voted it down and put in place this more complex accessory dwelling unit legislation. I just go on the record to say that as well.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Townsend. Please come forward.
Good evening. Thanks so much for having me. My name is Townsend McNitt. I live at 26 Franklin, and I have had the great joy of living in this community for 26 years. Thank you all for your work. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. Thank you, council members and city staff. And mostly thank you to the residents who make it a joy to live in this incredible community. I stand tonight in support of the much-needed renovations at the Stanton Community Center. I have been a volunteer there for 15 or 20 years now, and I founded in 2015 an organization called Friends of Stanton Center Youth Programs, which simply supports the variety of wonderful programming that's been offered at the Stanton Center for many years. I do want to call attention to two 8th graders, rising 9th graders who are here this evening. You all should know that that is London Eads, Robert Eads' wonderful daughter on the left, and Ariane Mayo, who's also here with us, and they came in support of the Stanton Center renovations as well. So what I love is seeing two students who care enough about this vital part of the Clay Street community that they've come out tonight, and I do want to thank them so much for that. We also have Paulette. Oh, yeah, let's give them a thank you, Paulette. We also have Paulette Carroll here, who does a fantastic job working at the Stanton Center every day. She's been there for the last several years, and she really has done a lot to improve our youth programming. I noticed in the budget, which I looked up online, that you've included $1.625 million for renovations at the Stanton Center, and I am grateful for that. That will certainly do a lot to improve this incredible community resource. However, I would just note that Director Johnson did request a larger amount. Mostly that involved the E floor that you're hearing about tonight, an incredible smart floor, which would really be something special in this community. Not only would it improve our sports, of course, but it would also be an amazing learning experience and would bring a lot of new and exciting things to the Stanton Center. So I do want to just say that is a great part of what was proposed. We clearly need what you've already funded. We ask if you would consider increasing that appropriation, because we are going to need more than that, I think, to do what is needed at the Stanton Center. I just want to echo what was said earlier. The Stanton Center is a vital part of the Clay Street community. And I know as a volunteer there with the Homework Club that we don't just serve the Clay Street community. We have children that attend our other elementary schools. Paulette picks them up in a bus and brings them. And so we are truly serving the broader Annapolis community. And so anything we can do to make that a better facility that will serve students more would be greatly appreciated and serve families better. The one thing I do want to add is there is no green space, which is just shocking. And of course, we live in a small city, a small historic city. I understand that over there happens to be no space for green space, but however, Director Johnson's plans involve a garden and playground on the roof, and that would be an amazing resource. So I do want to commend that to you and ask you all to consider it. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time and for all you do.
Thank you. Townsend. Alderman Neal wants to say a few words.
Thank you. I appreciate your testimony along with everybody else's tonight. And I do want to point out that there is also $1.2 million that came from the state that's appropriated to this particular project.
Right.
In addition to what we are allocating. The council also, once the budget is passed, we did specifically ask for an additional funding to go into after-school programming, as well as a small amount of funding as a pilot program to keep the Stanton open later on some Friday nights.
Wonderful.
So we are working towards that. And finally, Northwest Street Park, which is right down the street from the Stanton Center, is due to be renovated to add additional grass green space to that particular street and park.
Where is Northwest Park? Is that where that parking lot is now as you bear to the right on Northwest?
As you bear to the left down towards the water.
Okay, towards the water. Okay, great.
Towards the
that
water.
Would be wonderful.
So our city planner, Eric Lashinsky, has been working really closely with neighborhood residents to find out what exactly is wanted down there. And the plan going forward, the CIP project has additional green space, place for people to picnic, and eventually we'll have water access.
And maybe a playground involved? That would be amazing. We have a lot of kids that live there and would really benefit from that.
The work in progress.
Thank you. Thank you.
But lots of great ideas on the table and lots of investment coming, I promise you.
Great.
Alderman Pindell Charles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And the mayor and I talked about this probably about a year or so ago. We had decided it would be appropriate to name that park after Mr. Trader, who was the former Rec and Parks Director for the city. So
Yes.
that's going to be coming as well.
That's exciting.
Kids will be
Thank you.
excited about that. Yeah.
Thank you all.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward and speak? So I have you, Sven, down for expanding water uses. Is that you or not?
No, I thought I was fine.
Okay, no worries. I'll sign you off that. Please come forward.
It's pretty cool to see everybody that's shown up tonight and speaking for your causes and expressing your views. It's very refreshing. I've been had a business down on the city dock for almost 50 years, and anytime I come to a meeting and you hear this, it's awesome. A little over a year ago, the Pew Research Center conducted a poll on the reasons people run for office, and this is what Americans believe. 63% said they run for the money. 57% said the intention to run for higher offices. 54% believe that it's for fame, power, or attention. 22% said to address an issue or specific issues of self-interest. Only 15% believe that all or most of our elected officials run because they want to serve the public. Yet around election time, this is what all political candidates attempt to persuade voters to believe. We rely on each of you to caringly represent us, which includes communicating with us honestly. Our expectations are that you will both listen and respond to our concerns. It's kind of the neat thing about hearing what's been said tonight. A few weeks back, I was able to walk with the mayor and Harry down at the city dock to show them the non-functioning storm drain pump system that I've been complaining about for so long that helps to prevent flooding, as well as the sidewalk areas in desperate need of repair. The dreadful condition of the sidewalks near the city dock is obvious. I've witnessed the results of several significant injuries in just the past few weeks. A runner a few Saturdays back took a header on the other side of the harbor due to a missing brick in the sidewalk. His face was bloodied badly. An older man face planted due to the sidewalk disrepair in front of Longitude. He too left behind a pool of blood. Recently, a young mom was pushing her stroller at a decent rate of speed, but was unable to see because the stroller's in front of her, the missing bricks. She twisted her ankle badly. By the way, lawyers are plentiful. After a recent city presentation downtown for Dock Street businesses, I requested Brian Callahan, Matt Kelly, and Burr Vogel, who were in attendance, to take a quick look at the 3 Dock Street storm drains on their walk back to City Hall. Vogel walked across the street and refused to join us. This is the man that has told you that they had to wait for parts, that they couldn't get them, that it's a very sophisticated system, all sorts of different excuses. He's also said that it works beautifully, and it hasn't for 3 years. Brian and Matt accompanied me and witnessed the flood remediation's inoperable condition and expressed their concern. Well, I had asked Mr. Vogel to tell me what different parts that he used for this system. It's very simple. He refused to. I recently discovered the makes and models of the 3 different pieces of equipment needed to make our current flood remediation system function. The Zeller half-horsepower pumps can be purchased at a total cost each of $450. The Cherney Industries inflatable pump plug can be bought for $750. We need 3 of those, 6 pumps. I spoke directly with these manufacturers and discovered that they have never stopped production, nor has there ever been a scarcity of these products. The final piece is a simple backflow preventer that you can buy online. You can buy at any plumbing supply house. Amazon can get it to you tomorrow between 7 and 11 a.m. for $35. Just about done. When I told you that I was willing to purchase these items for the city to prevent Dock Street businesses from flooding, I meant it. In the past 3 years, just my business, my little ice cream store, has lost over $100,000 in sales. The cost to purchase these items is $5,050 delivered to my apartment. I want to believe that each of you ran because you wanted to serve. I'll close by saying, we rely on each of you to caringly represent us. Thank you.
Sorry, I thought you'd... Guys not coming up? I thought you might talk. See you guys. Cheers. Yeah. Anybody else like to come forward and speak? All right, I declare the public hearing closed. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is consent calendar.
Could I get a motion on this consent calendar?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Madam City Clerk,
Yes,
roll
sir.
call. Sorry.
Mayor Buckley,
Aye.
Alderman Shannon,
Aye.
Alderman Gay, Alderman Savage, Alderman Arnett,
Aye.
Alderman Huntley, Alderwoman O'Neill, Alderman Pendle Charles,
Aye.
Alderman Finlacy.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, next item on the agenda, please.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is business and miscellaneous items, beginning with fund transfer FT 1125, grant transportation, salaries and benefits, contractual services.
So move.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. City Attorney.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is supplemental appropriations, $50,000 and above, beginning with fund transfer or supplemental appropriation SA 3225, planning and zoning, housing assistance fund balance, contractual services.
So move.
Got that. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item is public hearings, beginning with Ordinance 0925, expanding waterfront uses in R4 general residence zoning districts.
Okay, we have Gary Sims signed up to speak. Might have been here for the other public hearing. Anybody else like to come forward and speak on 0925? Okay, I declare the public hearing closed on 0925. Please accept into the record Planning Commission's finding dated May 8th, 2025. Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is legislative actions.
Your motion.
Budget-related second hearings, R 2025, FY 2026 annual fee schedule.
So moved. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley,
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer,
Aye.
Alderman Gay,
Aye.
Alderman Savage,
Aye.
Alderman Arnett,
Aye.
Alderman Huntley.
Yes.
Yeah, 1 second. Alderwoman O'Neill, Alderman Pendle Charles,
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson.
Aye.
Thank you.
You, Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is Resolution R 2125, FY 2026 fine schedule. And again, this is on second reader.
The motion at R 2125 as amended on second reader.
So moved.
You. Alderman Huntley.
Yeah, he just doesn't remember what it was. Yeah, please.
The amendment 1 to R21 related to fines.
Point of order.
Sorry, Alderman Gay.
I'm sorry. I hope, was this discussed prior to the meeting?
So,
Because this would mean that we would have to pause this meeting so that they could correct. Okay, all right, that's all. Thank you.
you in a hurry?
Good point. We have consulted Finance Committee on this. Thank you. Okay, go ahead. Alderman Huntley.
I can't make the motion, but
Okay.
Yep, second. I don't remember.
You need somebody to move.
Somebody needs to move.
I move, whatever it is.
You can move it, you can second it, and you can explain it to Alderman Huntley.
okay, I'll second it and I'll explain it. So I couldn't make the motion to reconsider because I voted against the amendment, I voted against the amendment. But this amendment would have increased the fines for not removing snow. We're going to handle it as part of a ordinance that's in front of environmental matters. Felt like what was in the amendment was not really as baked as we needed. So I'm just requesting that we take it out of here and we do it as part of the ordinance that we're going to talk about on Thursday.
And we did discuss the nuances of this during the budget process. And I think the desire was to have people pay for the cost of removing the snow rather than piling on a fine. Right. So that's why I'm making this motion after I woke up and remembered what it was.
And I'll also just note one more thing, that the the code actually does say that it has to be set by a fee. So I worry that we couldn't even do it by fines per code if we wanted to. So.
Okay. Got a motion to amend. Vote on.
Your motion to reconsider.
Okay.
All in favor?
All those in favor of the motion to reconsider, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. So do we need to introduce that amendment, please? Yeah.
So I'm trying to find where it is actually in the.
Just want to check in with the finance director if this is okay. No monetary stuff that we have to deal with.
I'm sorry, are you asking if it's okay if we?
Yeah, so we have a motion to amend, we have an amendment coming to, we're moving forward. I just want to make sure they checked in with you and we still can move forward on the numbers, okay?
Yes, thank you. There is no budget change.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, we got that, Alderman Annette?
Yes.
Want to move that?
Yes.
Okay, and seconded by?
I'll second it.
Okay. Will this be a roll call? Okay, all those, Alderman Shannon, sorry.
So I'm a little perplexed how these are in conflict with the legislation. This doesn't seem like it interferes with it. We don't know for certain the legislation passes. It probably will, but weird things happen. I'm just very confused why we are doing this, I suppose.
I'm going to trust these guys.
I think, may I
Alderman
respond?
Huntley?
Yeah, I think part of my reasoning is that it does not make sense to increase the fines on people for not clearing their walk without then going and clearing their walk, right? Where the goal here is to say, if you don't clear your walk of snow, you get a fine. If you still don't clear it, Public Works can come out and clear it and charge you the cost of that. That's what I've heard from colleagues and what I feel is how the process should work. And just bumping up the fine doesn't do that. It just tacks on even more of a fine to what we already have as a not especially effective fine. Another issue I have with the way this is set up as the previous amendment is that it's not really based on the true cost. You're charging the same $200, whether it's a row home or it's a massive mansion, right? There's huge differences. So I just think there's a better way to do this, and I'd like more time to do it rather than putting it in now.
All right.
Okay, let's do a roll call.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley.
Aye.
Alderman Shannon. Alderman Gay.
I am still confused. I'm just gonna. I hope everybody's. I don't know. Abstain.
Point of information.
I think we're in the middle of the vote. So.
But they don't know what they're voting.
I think I can still request point of information.
Everybody knows what they're voting.
I just want clarification on what we're voting on. So are we removing this amendment completely? Are we taking part of it away? Can you explain exactly what you've heard? Two of my colleagues speak to the confusion. So are we? What are we changing?
I think you can read it out, please. Yeah.
Alderman Huntley had put in, there was an amendment to add a fine for snow removal, and that passed. So Alderman Arnett moved to remove that amendment to the fine schedule so that now it doesn't exist. And so this fines, the R2125 as amended, does not include a fine for snow removal.
So it is the entire amendment because there are 3 different pieces to this.
I think that's what it was, right?
Let me
Yeah.
just double check
It's
that.
everything but that. That was before you before.
So it's the entire amendment that we're
Yes.
recalling.
I'm trying to find it, but I can't.
Well,
It's really R 2125
we're nearly
as
there. We're
amended, and there were
on
3
the way
amendments.
to getting it voted. It's going to get taken care of sooner or later. Let's continue the. Are you with us on that? Thank you. So where are we on the vote?
Alderman Gay,
Yes.
Alderman Savage,
Aye.
Alderman Arnett,
Aye.
Alderman Huntley,
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles,
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlay.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes. Alderman Savage.
just on these two, as well as the budget amendment, could we get a list? I'm just wondering how we're going to know in the record what amendments we voted for and which ones we voted down. It'll be in the minutes.
We're going to
No, it
bring
won't be
up
in the
Jake.
minutes.
Jake, would you want to talk us through that?
For the record, Jake Trudeau, budget manager. It'll be in the minutes, but I can also send you a list of what has passed and what failed, whatever action that you took on an amendment. And all of those amendments should be on Legistar as well.
Well, I think it'd be good to have that in Legistar somewhere, because typically that is, we do list what amendments were passed. So if it's up there in some fashion, because right now we have all the amendments listed, but no, we don't know exactly.
Yep. So I
just
sent,
based on that, what we
Because we had to wait for tonight.
Sorry?
We had to wait for tonight.
Okay.
Alderman Gay.
Thank you. Would you mind also doing the same for, or are you going to put on a spreadsheet and just say passed or failed, similar to what you gave us on the amendment day?
so I can send you that like tracker, and I've sent the clerk a list of every single amendment, and it passed whatever action was taken on the actual amendment as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is Ordinance 01025, Annual Budget Appropriation and Property Tax Levy. Second reader.
So moved.
Second. I think we might have missed one, right?
It was already adopted on second reader at the last meeting. Only thing we're doing is adopting the balancing budget amendment. If you look at your script,
Can I move as amended with the amendment number 61?
So moved.
Or I'm sorry, do I need to move amendment 61 first?
Move amendment.
Move amendment 61.
Second.
Yep. The balancing amendment number 61.
Okay.
And Alderman Savage just moved it and it was second.
Okay. Everybody good? We'll make sure I'm good. All right, we'll do a roll call, please.
Yes.
Are we voting on the amendment?
The
The balancing.
The balancing amendment, amendment number 61.
And then we'll vote on the ordinance as
amended.
As amended, and then vote on our third reader, and you will be finished. Okay? So, Mayor Buckley,
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer,
Aye.
Alderman Gay,
Aye.
Alderman Savage,
Aye.
Alderman Arnett,
Aye.
Alderman Huntley,
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles,
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlay.
Aye.
Okay. The amendment passes.
Okay, can I get a motion to adopt 01025 as amended?
So moved.
On second reader?
Second.
Right.
Seconded.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
You want to roll on it, please? Okay, Mayor Buckley,
Aye.
Alderman Shannon Meyer,
Aye.
Alderman Gay,
Aye.
Alderman Savage,
Aye.
Alderman Arnett,
Aye.
Alderman Huntley,
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Aye.
Alderman Pendle Charles,
Aye.
Alderman Finlay.
Aye.
Can I get a motion on third reader? Look how happy these guys look out there. Look at
We're not done yet.
So move.
Second.
So move.
Second.
Okay.
Thank you. Another roll call.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley,
Aye.
Alderman Shannon,
Aye.
Alderman Gay,
No, I'm kidding. Yes. Of course, yes. It's the best budget we had.
okay, Alderman Savage,
Aye.
Alderman Arnett,
Aye.
Alderman Huntley,
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Aye.
Alderman Pendle Charles,
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlay.
Aye.
The budget.
Let's give our finance team a round of applause. All our directors,
Congratulations to Miss Moran, her first budget. Good
Well
job.
Thank you. It was very smooth. We appreciate it. And thank you to Jake and his team. Very
you very much.
appreciated.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't mean to leave you out.
All right, Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Back to second readers, Mr. Mayor, beginning with ordinance O3324, appeals process for property development in Annapolis.
Okay, could I get a motion on O3324 on second reader?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Have two amendments here. Alderman Finlayson.
The Rules Amendment, Rules Committee, changing the date for the Board of Appeals to the last hearing as opposed to just generally speaking to the hearing, but it should be the last hearing because there's a number of hearings that may take place.
Okay,
I
could
don't
I get
know.
a second on that, please?
Actually, before,
Thank you.
I was just gonna say we carry them at both at the same time as two very small technical. Just one adding.
Okay, we've got a first and a second. Any questions?
One adding.
Alderman Shannon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we went over this in Economic Matters, and I had been part of both committees, and I had voted for this in the Rules Committee, but Director Jakubiak had not been there. He was at the Economic Matters Committee where he gave us some additional information. He was opposed to this amendment because when he gave further information, he had said that a hearing that lasts multiple days is still considered one hearing. When we had made this amendment during the Rules Committee, we did not have that information. We thought that that was not so. He opposed this because he believed that it set the standard that we should allow multiple hearings for these ordinances. So with that additional information in Economic Matters, we had given this an unfavorable recommendation.
Thank you. Alderman Finlayson.
Yes, Alderman, if you will recall, who was with us that day was the city attorney. And she's the one that brought it to our attention that there may be a number of hearings. And that's why we amended it as such. Mr. Jakubiak was not there. So I don't know how to reconcile this. Mr. Lyles, maybe you can help out with that. But the young city attorney was with us when we made this motion.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple fix. The last date of any hearing would be my suggestion. The last day of any hearing. So if it's a one-day hearing, it's that day. It's where you can take appeals from. And then if it's a 3 or multiple day hearing, it's the last day of any hearing.
So could I make that as a friendly amendment
Sure.
to our committee?
Sure.
That it would speak to the last
It's a technical
date
correction, yes.
of the hearing, or
And it agrees with the
Okay.
director.
Okay. You need to move. You need to, it's a friendly, so it's already on there, right? So we don't need to vote that through, right? That's a friendly amendment we don't need to get through.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do I need to
Still
make
real?
it or?
I don't
all
think
right.
so.
Yeah, you'll need to adjust it on the record.
The friendly amendment is that the last day of the hearing is, so it still completes what Director Jakubiak's trying to achieve, because he said that the thing could be open for a number of days. So it's considered open or not, Alderman Shannon?
My understanding is that how the legislation was, Director Jakubiak had said how the legislation was written is that the hearing date is ended when a decision has been made. He believed that this tweak was unnecessary. I do not believe how the Alderwoman has amended it will hurt the legislation as a whole. I personally believe it adds a little bit of extra complicating language, but that is just my personal opinion. I don't think that will make or break the intent of the legislation as a whole, though. So colleagues vote however they feel is best. And I said a lot of words to say.
You understand what friendly amendment is?
Can I just say something? Are you saying that you need a date when the hearings are concluded? Because we continue hearings all the time. So
We're
I'm
adding
confused.
the word the last. Well, last is already in the amendment. It'll say the last date of the hearing or the last hearing date.
The last day the hearing was held means.
I'm sorry?
Are you saying that there's a significance with the last day when they close the hearing? Is that what you're saying? Because when we have a public hearing, they can continue, like with the budget, until we get the proper information that we need. So,
Well, I don't know the semantics.
So technically, if I remember correctly, this was an issue on when someone could appeal.
Mm-hmm.
They technically can't appeal until the hearing board commission makes a decision. It doesn't matter the day. It really just matters, when they make a decision, they have a certain number of days from that decision to appeal. And the days, the hearings, the dates really don't matter. And they're insignificant. The only thing that's significant for an appeal is whether or not the board has made a decision.
I don't really think that the Rules Committee, I don't want to say didn't care, but we were advised that that would be appropriate. And if it's not necessary, then it's not necessary.
Yeah, I may be misremembering because I was at the meeting. I may be misremembering the intent behind this particular amendment, but the appeals are really done from the standpoint of when the decision is issued. And the confusion has been with respect to some of these decisions is someone will watch a YouTube video and they'll say something at the hearing, but really it's when it's typed up and pushed out with a date on it that says this and signed. And so we have been arguing to the courts that is the hearing decision and not anything before that.
Mr. Mayor, Alderman Arnett is on the committee.
Yep.
So
Next,
maybe
Alderman Arnett.
share his.
So I think the city attorney is exactly right. It's the date of the decision, not the hearing. Most often, both the Planning Commission and the Board of Appeals will have a hearing. They'll take a sense of the board, but it's not really a decision until they write up their decision. And quite often they will vote at another meeting after the hearing on their decision. So I think what's been confused here is talking about the hearing as opposed to the date of the decision. And so if we're going to clean this up, we should say from the date of the decision.
Well, currently, that's all already there. That's already part and parcel of any appeal, because the appeal would be of a decision. And the decision clearly is when they vote on the final with the signatures.
Hold on, Finlayson.
With the concurrence of my colleagues on the Rules Committee, I would just soon withdraw them.
I'm voting against the legislation.
Okay.
So
All those
do I
in
need
agreement,
to make
please
a
say.
motion to with-
Yeah.
Okay.
You got
Okay.
All those in agreement with withdrawing it, say aye.
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 No.
No,
to vote.
we're voting it
We have to
down.
vote it down.
No, if you don't want to vote for it,
Okay.
but you say aye, and they're
You
not
can
supposed to
vote
say
for it.
anything, and then you say
Right.
nays. And
You
then
can't make the mayor vote in some way he doesn't want to vote.
Are we
Okay.
voting it down, right? On the Finlay. Sorry, I thought you were withdrawing it.
That's okay.
Okay, I thought you made a motion to withdraw it, but you
No,
can't.
she made a
I
motion
apologize.
to. It's-
Okay.
it's-
Okay. All those in favour say aye. All those opposed say no.
No.
Nay.
Abstain.
Thank you. Okay, Shannon Amendment number 2.
Thank you,
Aren't
Mr.
glad we
Mayor.
Keep them together.
We could have.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This came out of Economic Matters when trying to clarify would Zoom hearings be part of the process or virtual hearings be part of the process? I'm sorry for using brand name. So this strikes the phrase in person. The director was there at the time of this, and he said that does clarify that we are now in an era where virtual hearings are allowed. And he was moderately positive on the language, does not think it really impacts it, but it does provide additional clarification.
Okay, thank you.
And I move Amendment 2.
Need a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Could I get a motion as amended?
There's no 3.
So moved.
We get a
One
second?
more amendment.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Could I get a motion to adopt O-33? Okay, no. 24 as amended on second reader.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Thank you. Can I get a motion on third reader?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley,
Aye.
Alderman Shannon,
Aye.
Alderman Gay,
Aye.
Alderman Savage,
Aye.
Alderman Arnett,
No.
Alderman Huntley,
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Aye.
Alderman Pendle Charles,
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson.
Aye.
033.
No, actually Heidi Hollick did.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is Ordinance 01125, Arts and Public Places Commission Update and Revisions.
Is there a motion to adopt O-11-25 on second reader?
Second.
All those in favour say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt O-11-25 on third reader?
Second.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley,
Aye.
Alderman Shannon,
Aye.
Alderman Gay,
Aye.
Alderman Savage,
Aye.
Alderman Arnett,
Aye.
Alderman Huntley,
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill,
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles,
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson.
Aye.
Thank you.
You, Mr. City Attorney, please present the next on the agenda.
So moved.
Yes, the next item on the agenda is 03024 that was moved from the, right? We're at 030? Well, hold on for a second, because didn't we move that one off, Regina? R30? Or we voted to
Yeah, we
approve the
voted to
agenda
amend
as
with-
amended to add 03024.
Right.
So now we're at 03024, the last ordinance. Mr. Mayor, we're at 03024, fence permit requirements related to use and development standards in the city zoning code title 21. We added it to the agenda.
Okay, could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Alderman Savage.
Thank you. And thank you, colleagues, for your indulgence in adding this to the agenda. It is an older ordinance that I'm getting antsy to be done with. And so and I also want to thank the Rules and Government Committee for your help with this. I think we have
greatly simplified it. After their meeting, sat down with Chris Jakubriak. We rewrote it, brought it back to Rules of Government, and then slimmed it down even more and added some items. And so this Amendment 1 includes everything from the Rules of Government Committee. To look at to see the changes, you want to go to the third page, where you'll see number 5 at the top. It says light and air obstruction. And so this legislation basically just does two things. It addresses what type of fences should be installed next to forests and open spaces, and allows for special exception to get something other than what's specified. And then in B, it talks about fences on steep slopes, which allows the director to reduce the fence height. Again, if it's in the interest of reducing light and air obstruction. So it's an effort to define that light and air obstruction, which is never really fully defined in the code before. That's basically it.
And there's an amendment you're moving on that?
Yeah, the Amendment 1 is, move Amendment 1. Sorry.
Get a second, please.
Discuss
Second.
Yeah. And amendment number 1 is?
Yeah, I discussed that out of order. Sorry. Amendment 1 is a complete rewrite, and that's what it is in the blue. Those two things I went over.
Right. Thank you. Alderman Shannon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In the Rules and City Government, we went over Amendment 1 in great detail, and I really have to give a compliment to Alderman Savage's work on this. It greatly clarifies, specifies, and simplifies the legislation into, I think, a really good draft, and that one that I was originally opposed to legislation as written, and now I'm very on board, and I would encourage my colleagues to support this.
Great. Okay. All those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Could I get a motion to adopt O-34 as amended on second reader?
So moved.
All those in favor say aye. Oh, sorry. Alderman Gay. Before we vote.
Thank you.
Alderman
I'm
Gay.
just saying I'm voting for the alderman, but I fundamentally disagree, and I hope that in the future, the fence and any personal property rights legislation concerns me, especially when we, add additional layers on top of, simple things. If we heard tonight, our planning can be incredibly complex, and so, but I support this because of your work on it, and I know that it will remedy the issues that you're talking about.
Thank you. Alderman Pindell-Charles and Alderman Shannon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Albeit this came in at the last moment, I haven't had a chance to really absorb it, as I indicated, Alderman Savage, but I just consulted with Alderwoman Finlayson, and if she's comfortable with it, and so am I. So kudos to her.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Shannon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Alderman Gay, I really understand where you're coming from. That's originally why I was opposed to the legislation as written. But when Amendment 1 passed, the legislation has been narrowed down and specified so significantly to being focused on fences along the forest line that it's not really going to have a significant impact on a large amount of properties. There was one point where we had a significant debate in the Rules and City Government around privacy fences and windows, et cetera, and that would have had a massive impact on neighborhoods that had really any neighbors at all. And so that had been trimmed down as part of this amendment. I had concerns about people who may want a privacy fence if there happened to be a trail or a path along the forest line. We had started allowing that by special exception. So this amendment really took into consideration some of those difficulties and concerns that we have in our code, and it really specified it down from what was a wide net into something that's a lot more surgical. And while it does add layers to the code, it's not something that's going to have this massive, far-reaching impact like some of our other bulk regulations, setback requirements, etc.
And thank you for that. And I really appreciate you bringing up those points, because I'm looking here even at bullet 11, which allows the temporary fences, during time of construction, develop all of those things, unconventional fences, etc. I do have a question for the sponsor though, because we have barbed wire fences on commercial properties in the city of Annapolis, but here it says, except in connection with penal and correctional institution and public utility.
Savage?
Yeah, so just to clarify, I know the blue is hard to distinguish from the black, but the blue, it's a little difficult to explain, but the headers, that's just a new header. So on 7, 8, 9, on everything except for 5, all the bold and blue or black are just brand new headers that you're seeing. So the staff law office added the headers to just make it more clear for interpretation. But the only thing new is in number 5, 5A and B.
Okay, right, we've got a motion and a second as amended. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Got to get a motion on third reader.
So move.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon?
Aye.
Alderman Gay?
Aye.
Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
Aye.
Alderman Huntley?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill?
Aye.
Alderman Pendle Charles?
Aye.
And Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
It carries.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Please present the next on the agenda.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda for second reading is resolutions, beginning with R 1225, Street End Park on Annapolis Street.
Do a motion to adopt R-12-25.
Did we do
So moved.
arts in public places? Oh,
Did that
okay.
already.
So move.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Mayor Buckley?
Aye.
Alderman Shannon? Alderman Gay?
Aye.
Alderman Savage?
Aye.
Alderman Arnett?
Aye.
Alderman Huntley?
Aye.
Alderwoman O'Neill?
Aye.
Alderwoman Pendle Charles?
Aye.
Alderwoman Finlayson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yay for perks.
Yay. All right, Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The next item is R 1725, 2025 Transit Development Plan for the City of Annapolis.
Alderman Savage.
I would just like to move to postpone until our June 16th, is that right? Meeting next week.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
16th. There is no 31st.
That's correct.
Mr. City Attorney, please present the next item on the agenda.
The agenda is complete, Mr. Mayor.
Is there anything else for good order? Alderman O'Neill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I know that you talked about it in your opening comments, but Porch Fest is happening in Germantown Homewood, 11 to 3 on Saturday. Porch Fest was started in another state. I believe it was Pennsylvania. It is a national phenomena of people inviting musicians to their front porches and opening up those front porches for the neighborhoods to come out. There are, I believe, 33 musicians lined up in Germantown Homewood. So come out and enjoy Porch Fest.
Thank you. Alderman Gay.
Thank you. I just want to thank Alderwoman O'Neill and Caitlin McQuaid for organizing the Porch Fest. I will be there because it seems fantastic. And when I bring Lil Wayne and Nicki Minaj to do Porch Fest in Eastport, I don't want any noise complaint problems, okay? This is fantastic.
I am solely the bearer of news out to the public.
This is great.
Kayla
I'm looking forward
McQuaid
to
is
it.
the person to come
Anybody
in.
else? Give yourselves a round of applause, everybody. Thank you. I want to thank you all for going easy on us for the last budget. Thank you for all your hard work. Alderman Pendle Charles.
Yes, I think this is probably the first meeting we've gone through that our city manager didn't have to answer a question and sat quietly over there. So Just want to put in that tidbit.
Thank you. Could I get a motion to adjourn? Second. All those in favor say aye. Meeting adjourned.